Greetings to you. I was wondering if you had the time today to talk about the intelligent design movement. Do you think that it is truly bad for science? Shouldn't it be taught in public classrooms?
Oh no, you again. I thought we were done with this. Absolutely not. Intelligent design or ID is horrible for science. ID explanations bring an end to the questioning process that is so fundamental to the scientific process and to our academic institutions. ID also goes against the scientific method by claiming that organisms are so complex that they cannot be understood by conventional science. This goes against the heart of science, which is about asking questions. Students should be allowed to ask thoughtful questions and answer them by observation and experiments, not in the form of some fake science.
Horrible for science? Oh brother, here we go again. Let me explain. ID does not seek to thwart evolution from the classrooms, but only stir up the controversies surrounding it. We all know that scientific disputes can actually stimulate the scientific thought process. In fact, ID is already being used in a number of areas of science such as archaeology, anthropology, forensics, and SETI, and it hasn't hurt science. Even though the designer is not a supernatural agent, but intelligent humans, the principles involved in studying these areas of science can be applied to the study of supernatural ID. Many people argue that methodological naturalism is necessary because scientists who followed it have made valuable discoveries. That is true, but it is also true that scientists who did not follow it, like Isaac Newton, who assumed that God was the designer, have also made some valuable discoveries for science.
Oh yeah. Well, what about the scientific method? Are you going to ignore it?
What I should be doing is ignoring you. The scientific method is why science, also called methodological naturalism. However, when you say Darwinian evolution did it, or when an intelligent designer did it, these statements are pretty much neutral to science. It's really not going to hurt or change how science is done if we talk about ID or evolution in the classrooms. Maybe a different philosophical idea, but not how science is actually explored. If you said that an intelligent designer did it, wouldn't you be curious to know how he did it, like how naturalism may have done it? Basically, you just go back to doing science again, although the different philosophical premises or alternatives have changed. It really doesn't matter.
I don't think you understand. We cannot test ID. There are no known tests to support its claims. It does not qualify as a science or a theory.
Baloney. Are you reading this from a cue card? The scientific method goes from observation to hypothesis to experiment to a conclusion. Intelligent design begins with the observation that intelligent agents produce complex and specified information, or CSI. Design theorists hypothesize that, if objects were designed, they will contain CSI. One easily testable form of CSI is irreducible complexity. ID researchers can then experimentally reverse engineer biological structures to see if they are irreducibly complex. If they find them, they can conclude design.
Well, that is your problem. Because you have not found anything that is irreducibly complex.
Not so fast, motor mouth. Have you considered the bacterial flagellum? It's not like you can build one of these things in your backyard, you know. The bacterial flagellum is an elegant, efficient machine with all the elements of design in its intrinsic function, genetic regulation, and chromosomal organization. This organelle is irreducibly complex, and it is this very parameter that has made it amenable to molecular genetic dissection. Of the thousands of papers written on this organelle, none address its mechanism of emergence or evolution. In fact, we have no mechanism to explain the evolution of such complex machines. Hypothesis maybe, solid facts no.
Are we done yet? I have to recharge.
Yes, I believe we are done. Now go home. Oh boy, I should have dumped you in Pittsburgh along with the other scrap heap.